All right, so we're doing things a little bit differently here today. I got doggy hospice daycare. So, as I tell you all what I think we have the ability to make the roster next season with free agency coming up Monday, you guys just watched the mini movie that I yanked from the Florida Panthers channel. Now, on your screen right now, you're probably looking at what I think our lineup could be. Now, I'm not saying this is a guarantee, but what I am saying is that we have the financial capability to do this. Barkov, Erod, Reinhardt, Bennett, Kachuk for Hagee, Lundell, Lusterinen, Semiskevich, Stenlin with Lomberg and Gadjevich, with defensive pairs of Forsling, Ekblad, Mikula, OEL, and Balinskis, Bornfoot. Now, I did a video over the summer about the cap space that we were going to have left and how we should spend it or could spend it anyway. Not a whole lot has changed. Now, when Zito says we have a plan to keep everybody, I believe him. Now, here is the most likely scenario if we're going to try to keep as many people as possible. And this is with keeping Spencer Knight. So we've got $19.5 million in cap space. You give Reinhardt $9.5. You give Lundell a 2-year, $2.5 million deal because you're going to pay him once Bobrovsky leaves. He's an RFA. Yes, could he maybe demand a little bit more on the outside? But I think Lundell's a smart kid. He's got a Stanley Cup. You give him 2 years, and that way when Bob leaves, Lundell can get paid. You bring back OEL at $2.5 million. That's a little bit of a bump. If you can bring back Stenlin at $1 million, once you add Lomberg and Samiskevich back to the roster, that leaves you $2.3 million left. That leaves you with basically, you have your team and you need your reserves now. So you can either have one forward or two forwards, 1D, 2D, whatever. You've got enough to sign at least 2, if not 3 minimum wage guys, but you probably would just go with 2. Now, of course, this is with keeping Spencer Knight. And you'll notice Brandon Montour's not on the team. Now, when Zito said they had a plan to keep everybody, I think the assumption was you were going to have to pick one player that couldn't leave unless you were going to trade Spencer Knight, and then obviously there would be money for Montour. But I think Montour is gone. I don't see the benefit in trading Spencer Knight to keep Montour when OEL is a perfectly good Montour replacement, especially on the power play, and that keeps Spencer Knight in the system. So if everything goes the way I think it could go, I don't necessarily think you're going to see a lot of turnover. You're going to have maybe a couple of new reserves, but in terms of the players that might leave, we do have the majority of our guys signed, right? You sign Reinhardt, you add Samiskevich, there's your top 9. You've already got Gadjevich signed. Lomberg, I'm sure, would come back for the same amount of money. I think it's about $800,000. And Stenlin really is the only question mark there. Do you want to upgrade or do you want to keep Stenlin around? I mean, we just won the Stanley Cup with him. In terms of the defense, Forsling, Ekblad, Mikula, OEL. Again, OEL was Montour's replacement at the beginning of the year, and he ended up being his power play replacement at the end of the year. No reason to overpay for Montour when OEL, I'm sure, will stay. And then we've already got Balinskis and Bornfoot locked up for this upcoming season. To me, that sounds like a very suitable bottom pair. If Kulikov wants to come back on a minimum wage deal so those 3 guys can battle it out for 6, 7, and 8D, or 5, 6, and 7D, excuse me, it's not so bad. If we want to bring all these guys back, I think we can. The 2 guys that will be out will be Montour, and obviously there's probably not a lot of room to sign Tarasenko. Now, if you traded Spencer Knight, that could buy you Tarasenko, but then you're blocking Samiskevich again, and I don't see the value in that. We've already won the cup. Tarasenko is the kind of player that you get at the trade deadline to help, and he did help, but I don't see the value in blocking Samiskevich for another full year to pay Tarasenko. If you get to the trade deadline next year and we feel like we need an upgrade and he's not quite ready, we can deal with that issue then. But that 4th line, Lomberg, Stenlin, Gadjevich, I'm good to go. And, oh, yeah, that has Nick Cousins out. Now, Again, that's not a guarantee, but he's making, I believe, 1.2 million. So he would have to take a pay cut if he's going to want to stay. So that's it. Short and sweet for today. I just wanted to make some kind of content because I've had my head busy with Fluffy so far all week. He's doing good. He's not getting worse. Yesterday was not a good day. Today he's a little bit better. That's just the way it's going to go. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I should have a channel wrap up. I got to wrap my head around some of the things that I want to say. My brain cells ain't working so good, but they work good enough to let you all know we can basically bring everybody back except for Montour. And I don't see why we would get rid of Spencer Knight to keep Montour when we can replace him with OEL.